We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go, we're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go. Hi everybody, I'm Sophie, he's Mike, and she's Brenda, and welcome to On the Road with Mickey. If you're returning for another adventure with us, welcome back. We are so glad you have returned safely, and if this is your first episode with us and you're new here, welcome. It's so nice to meet you, and I'm going to show you the reins today. First up, we have our Cheddar from the Big Cheese, which is basically our Disney news snippets. And then after that, we have our feature topic, which is what we talk about for most of the episode. And then after that, we have our This Day in Disney History, brought to you by me. And after that is our game of Who's Who, and that is brought to you by Mike, my dad. Oh, fair warning, I'm almost never wrong when it comes to this game. I almost always win it. And then after that, Brenda will be giving us a quote from the big man himself, Walt Disney, and it's just going to be amazing. So buckle up, keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the car at all times. Make sure you're safe, fasten your seatbelts, all that good stuff. And we will see you on the road. It's time to get going. Let's go!
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie,
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
and he's Grogu, and we're on the road with Mickey. This is season 2, episode 38 for September 20th, 2021, and our feature topic this week is your favorite moderate resort and why. This is part 2 of 3. Next week, we are going to conclude our look by looking at the deluxe resorts, and we're going to give you our favorites. If you remember, last week we had pretty much all of us like Pop the Best, but Brenda was nice enough to talk about Art of Animation.
Yeah.
But this week, I think we actually have some variety in our discussion. So yay us!
Yeah.
Yay.
Um, and but to close out last week, we do have some updates from last week. And after we recorded, we had some more listener feedback on our favorite value resorts. Cindy said that she always loved Pop, but with the addition of the Skyliner, they love it even more. Deb said that music was wonderful, but now that they have stayed at Pop, they love the convenience of the Skyliner. So I'm wondering, are we seeing a trend here, people?
Sounds like it.
I'm
And to
thinking
think at
people
one-
are like, I just love the Skyliner.
I think you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
And to think
Yeah.
at one point everyone thought they were going to hate it.
I know. I know.
It's so weird. Isn't it weird how Disney always manages to
Fool us into
Yeah.
thinking one thing while we know another.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Disney, we love you.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
All right. But anyway, that was our feedback from last week. And let's move on to this week. So, Brenda, start us off with some cheddar from the big cheese.
Well, we got great news about the Candlelight Processional this year. Oh my goodness, it is returning to Epcot. Yay!
Woo!
Yay! That is just the best event ever. I just love it so much. It's starting this year on November 26th and running through the Festival of the Holidays until December 30th. For this year, they're not able to bring the guest choirs in. So what they're going to do is just grow the Disney choir, the Disney cast member choir to cover, which sounds great. And Disney expects guest choirs to return next year. So something to look forward to, but I know it's going to be awesome because it always is. Right now, they're working on securing the narrators for this year, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yay. Yay.
Big yay.
All right. Oh, this is so exciting. I want to go see the Candlelight Processional.
Beautiful. Oh, you need to go.
Yee. So much excitement today, especially with Brenda and my pieces of news because, oh my gosh, one day Nemo is gone for good and the next day it's back. A new reimagined show based on the same characters will debut in 2022. So, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, in Animal Kingdom, there was a musical that was Finding Nemo the musical, and I loved it so much. It was such an amazing show, and then one day it closed, and I was so sad. Well, now there's a new one coming, and hopefully it will be as good as the one that I remember. I am so excited. Ah!
Yay. Yay. That is great news.
And my cheddar, which pales in comparison, I think, maybe not, but my cheddar is that coming back on the radar are dessert parties and fireworks cruises. And that is huge because A, I've got clients that want to do fireworks cruises, but B, it's all returning back to what used to be, you know?
Yeah.
Starting September 18th, the Fairy Tale Fireworks, a sparkling dessert cruise, is coming to the Magic Kingdom, and you're actually going to be on one of the ferry boats. And I'm
Oh.
curious to see how that's going to go. I have a client that is interested in doing that in November, so hopefully it'll work out and we can get them their reservation.
Awesome.
Also, over at Tomorrowland Terrace, there's going to be 3 different dessert parties. Okay, you listening, Soph?
Yeah, I'm listening.
They start on October 3rd. There's a pre-party and an after party, and you enjoy your desserts before the fireworks, and then you have reserved standing viewing of the fireworks in one of the plaza gardens with prime location for seeing the fireworks. But there's also one called the Treats and Seats, where you're sitting on the Tomorrowland Terrace, and we've done that. We've done one similar to that, right, Sophie?
Yeah,
And
we have.
with Aunt Leanne and Riley and Aunt Sheila and all them. Um, and when we did that, you sit down and you eat while you're enjoying the fireworks. And so
Ooh.
those are the 3 different options you got. You got a pre-party, a pre-fireworks, an after fireworks, and a during the fireworks kind of options. So it's really kind of curious to see what people will think of it and how it goes.
Yep.
And then lastly, over at Epcot, there will be 2 harmonious fireworks dining packages. One is over at the Rose and Crown. The other is at Spice Road Table. Both of them are starting on October 1st because that's when Harmonious starts, and they have different pricing. The Spice Road Table looks like it's more like an appetizer kind of feel to it, whereas Rose and Crown is more like an actual real full sit down meal.
Yeah.
So the pricing for Rose and Crown is a little bit more. But if anyone's interested and wants to look at that for their reservation, just let us know. I think it's exciting that they're coming back.
Yeah.
I think it is too. So,
Yeah.
considering this is happening around the time that we're gonna be there,
Mm-hmm.
just a little thought, if we have any space for it.
Just a thought. I don't know
Aw.
if we have space for it, but we can look.
Just a little thought.
And
All
then
right.
Brenda has some news on Space 220.
Yes, dining reservations for Space 220 opened this morning. This unique dining experience takes diners on a journey from Earth to the stars, a simulated 220 miles above the Earth's surface for an immersive experience that will delight all the senses. The menus for the 2-course prefix lunch and the 3-course prefix dinner were announced last week. The cost for the 2-course lunch is $55 per adult and $29 per child. The cost for the 3-course dinner is $79 per adult and $29 per child. The restaurant isn't accepting reservations for September 20th through 26th because they want that to be walk-ins only, but reservations can now be made for September 27th and beyond.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. That's cool. That's cool
Yep.
stuff.
That is very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I have to experience it so I can see how they deal with the allergies over there. So,
Yeah, I have to as well.
Yeah. To see how the
Just-
food tastes.
That's right.
Probably maybe not on this trip, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Never know.
Yeah.
We'll never know. But anyway, that is our cheddar from the big cheese. Just a reminder, check out the show links inside the notes, and you can connect with us on all of our groups and YouTube and Instagram. You can email us, you can call our voicemail number, and we love to hear from you all. And that takes us into our feature topic, which is our favorite moderate resort and why. As I said earlier, this is a part 2 of a 3-part series. And this week, the reminder is that the moderate resorts are Caribbean Beach Resort, Coronado Springs Resort, Port Orleans Riverside, Port Orleans French Quarter, and the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort. So
Yeah.
which is your favorite and why? So Brenda, which is your favorite and why?
Well, my favorite is Disney's Port Orleans Resort Riverside, and that is largely due to a heartstring because I still have 3 kids. Of course, now I have, daughters-in-law and grandkids, but when my kids were young, there were 3 of them. So there were only, there were no values that you could have a family of 5 in. There were only a couple of the moderates we could have a family of 5 in. So we started at the Port Orleans Riverside and we never stopped. We loved it. So that has always been my favorite moderate because it accommodated us well. It's beautiful. The feel of it, the food there, the clientele there, everything. We like it for so many reasons. So if you've never been there, you have to kind of think about, Tom Sawyer kind of, scenery. Like the theming is after like 19th century American South, specifically Louisiana, Mississippi. But it's really neat. It has like the landscape there is just very peaceful and calm, full of lush trees, just a huge river that runs through it, and it's very relaxing. Very beautiful. So I'll highlight a few things there and then let you go. So the Pascagoula Steamship Company has the Riverside Mill Food Court, and at the Riverside Mill Food Court, we always got to create your own pasta because you could choose your pasta, choose your meat, you could choose your ingredients, and they built this big to-go thing full of this create your own pasta, and that was always our favorite to get for dinner over there. Love it. There's a great gift shop too in there, and there is the River Roost where Yeehaw Bob is, and we'll be back
And
on
returning.
October 14th when the resort reopens, and we love you, Yeehaw Bob. Woohoo!
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
His he announced on Facebook that his schedule will be Wednesdays through Saturdays from 8:30 to midnight.
Yep,
And
still the
he's
same
still
schedule,
planning,
thankfully.
and he's still planning to do his Sunday nights
online
from home.
He's
So
busy. He is
he is.
busy.
Yeah.
We love him.
Yeah.
And the pool over at Riverside, the feature pool is is over at Old Man Island, which is like a central island, and it's got the water slide, and it's kind of like, Tom Sawyer. I mean, that's what you think of when it's over there. And then they also have 5 quiet pools around the resort. So the quiet pool, we always went to the quiet pool that's right by the laundry because we usually would stay like a 10-day span. So we would wash clothes there once. And so I'd put the laundry in, we'd hang out by the pool. I'd go switch the laundry, we'd hang out by the pool. So it was just a really Lovely place. Lovely place. I have to say there are 4 bus stops on property. So this is something that will factor into your decision. Port Orleans French Quarter has just the 1 bus stop. Actually, Port Orleans French Quarter and Port Orleans Riverside during some times of the year share bus service. But as far as the massiveness of Port Orleans Riverside, there are 4 bus stops on property. So you can literally get on the bus at the first stop and be on the bus for a good 20 minutes before you ever even leave to head out to the park. So we do tend to use like Lyft if we're trying to get
Oh.
someplace faster and we're staying there, but it would never deter me from staying there. I can tell you that much for sure.
Yeah.
And then on the way back, we don't care if we stop a bunch of
Yeah.
times. We just care when we're going to a park.
Right. Especially if you have like a late or a dining reservation you got to make.
Yes, yes, yeah. Or we're trying to get to a ride, right at Rope Drop.
Right.
There's also the boat ride to Disney Springs, which we love because it's just a calm ride on the water, and we really like doing that. And you can only do that from those 2, from the 2 Port Orleans resorts. The rooms are comfy. The hotel management has always been top notch. And even when I was there in February 2020, right before all heck broke loose and everything closed, when we got into the room, there was a letter there from the general manager welcoming us, telling us how glad we were there. And then, there was a point on the trip that the littlest granddaughter got sick. She woke up with a high fever, and the gift shop was still closed. I mean, it was like 5 in the morning and everything was closed. So we called down to the front desk. They got the manager to let us into the gift shop to get some fever medicine. I mean, they're just very, very accommodating. I have always found it to be top notch over there with the management. I love them. So.
And it's not just because you're Brenda Kenworthy.
No, it's not.
No.
Yeah, despite what everybody thinks with our million followers, I was just a regular person and they just are happy to help everybody and anybody. So I really like that. Plus the clientele there, like when you go to eat at the Riverside Mill Food Court, like the families that stay there are they're like us, it's just comfortable there. Everything's comfortable for us.
Yeah.
But I mainly appreciate the peaceful, beautiful landscape of the resort, which you can see in my picture behind me. And it's especially during the early morning quiet time when I have my devotional and I'm journaling out there. It's just inspiring and it's quiet and it's beautiful. You can watch the sunrise. And I just love it. And if you like to fish, you can rent a pole, you can buy some worms. They have a catch and release fish program. I mean, it's really cool. Plus, Port Orleans Riverside, I don't know that they're now the only one, but when we started going there, they had the only fan run website that covers news constantly, up to date
Really?
news about that resort because the people that love it so much.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, it's
PortOrleans.org.
PortOrleans.org. Yep.
What?
And
Okay,
it's
hang on.
constantly up to date.
Yeah.
It's a
It
really
is
great website for
and it
finding
is-
out what's going on when you're getting ready to visit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it really
It is
is.
It is a really
Top-notch.
run. Yeah, it's really run well.
That is that is completely amazing. I love that.
Yep. It's really helpful.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
And
And
you know
that's
what the
all I-
first thing I saw?
What
The
did you
first
see?
thing I saw when I looked at this website, Yeehaw Bob Jackson live
That's
every
right.
Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, because
No one has more fun than us, and it even has a link to a PayPal tip jar.
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice. That is
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. It's a great resort. It's a great resort. It has a special place in my heart because my kids basically grew up at that resort.
Aww.
So that's it for me. Who is next?
Sophie
All
is
right.
next.
Guess it's my turn.
Yippee.
Well, you guys know that something is definitely up since I changed my background. For those of you watching on YouTube, I have not changed my background in forever, and I assure you, next week, it's either going to be one of the Grand Floridian or it's going to be back to my usual castle pick.
So you're saying this is the first time in forever you changed your background?
Daddy, I...
Yeah, and she's also giving a little tease as to what her favorite deluxe resort is that she's going to be covering next week.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
sure is, isn't she?
Yeah, but all I know is that right now my dad might be going on mute if he's not careful.
Oh,
Well, actually, I don't think I can do that, but never mind. Anyway, so my favorite moderate resort has to be the cabins at Fort Wilderness. And while my background does not depict the cabins, it depicts the campgrounds. I still like it because this is basically what you see when you stay at a cabin. You see the decorations, you see the fairy lights, and that's one of the reasons why I like Fort Wilderness so much. People do not just go there to have a place to sleep at night. People go to Fort Wilderness to stay for a very decent amount of time. In fact, I remember talking to some of the people that were in the cabins next to us and some of the people at the campgrounds, and they all say, "Oh no, we're not just staying here for a week. This is like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even 4 week long vacations." And I'm like,
yeah.
wow, I
Lucky
would
people.
love I would love to stay at Disney for that long.
Yeah.
Especially, and then of course there's the decorations. I'm talking a lot about the decoration because it's something so huge to me. Fort Wilderness is not built like the other resorts on the property. All the other resorts are like, I suppose you could call them luxury apartments in a way. Well,
Right.
classic hotels, I suppose, is the better choice, but they look like apartments somewhat. And that's because they're all in a huge building. They're all side by side by side. But with Fort Wilderness, that's not the case. You have the cabins, and they are separate buildings from each other. And it's amazing. I love them so much. And plus, Miss Brenda, they sleep 6 people. So if you
Yeah.
wanted to go to another moderate resort besides Riverside, you could always just stay at the cabins at Fort Wilderness, and then you can invite me because there's going to be one extra spot.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then it's a big resort too, and that's because it has so many cabins that are separate buildings from each other and the campgrounds. And so, of course, there's this feeling like you're going to be outside more than usual when you're staying at Fort Wilderness versus another hotel, because you also have to account for walking and even taking the bus throughout the resort in order to get to all the places. Which brings me to my next point, which is the pool. There are two pools at Fort Wilderness. One of them is significantly larger than the other, and that's the one that I've been to. And I'm talking about the Meadow Pool, which is the one with the water slide. My dad didn't think there was a water slide at Fort Wilderness for a while, but then I corrected him and I showed him a picture last week,
Mhm.
and that was the slide at the Meadow Pool.
Yeah.
And it was larger and busier than the Wilderness Pool, which was closer to me, but I didn't want the small pool with no water slide in it. So I went to the Meadow, and it's a great place. The Meadow has a bunch of different things. It has a gift shop, the main gift shop. It has ponds. I think you can go fishing there as well. And of course the pool. So I really liked it. And then of course there's the I think it's the outpost, and that's where the boats to Magic Kingdom are.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's the outpost. There's a lot of different stuff you can do. The outpost is actually right next to the main area where you check in. So you can see at one point in the main area, there are all the horses that you can ride because you can ride horses at Fort Wilderness. And then by the outpost is where the stable for said horses are. And I remember Mommy telling me, hey, we can actually go and look at the stables and see the horses there. But we didn't have time to because we wanted to catch the bus back to our area of the woods.
Yep. Yeah. Fort Wilderness is one of those unique resorts, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It's
really
an
is.
original resort.
It is.
It was
And I,
open on day one, wasn't it, Brenda?
Yeah. We used to live at River Country when I was young. We
And see,
loved
we
River
never
Country
went.
out
I
there.
never went to River Country.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. But I like the cabins too because you can get like if you get grocery delivery, you can grill right there. I do
yeah,
all of our cooking here. I cook everything, but my husband grills. And so if we get like steaks delivered or something with delivery service, he loves to just grill out there. It's so nice to just sit out there. Of course, we
Yeah.
it
travel in the
is.
fall, so we like to be outside in the fall, not the rest of the time. But you can also do when it's running. You can also do the campfire with the s'mores with Chippendale.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You can do horse and carriage rides over there, and don't
you
forget
can.
about P&J's Carry Out and the Trails End
Oh,
Oh,
restaurant that
yeah.
has the same
P&J's.
food
Hmm.
as Hoop Dee Doo Review, and Hoop Dee Doo Review's over there too.
Yep.
So there's
You
so
are just
much.
rhyming. You are a poet today, Miss Brenda.
I'm a
That
poet. You
fried
didn't know it,
chicken.
but my feet show it because they're Longfellows.
Oh my gosh. Give it
I
up
was
for
just
Miss
gonna say
Brenda.
that fried chicken was good, but what do I
That
know?
that fried chicken is so darn good.
Oh my gosh. Give it up for Miss Brenda, though. Come on. Round of
Okay.
Yeah.
applause, Patty. Oh, wow.
But yeah, Fort
You're hiding
Wilderness
your
has a
face
lot
there.
going for it, and you're right. It's not. A lot of times, I think we talked to the same people Sophie was talking with, and they weren't even certain how many days they were even going to go into the parks, if they were going to go in the parks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much that they like to do around Fort Wilderness that it's almost like that's just where their destination is. And parks, what are these parks you talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot to see and do over at Fort Wilderness. And if you are staying somewhere else and you are looking for a different and interesting area to go explore, then by all means head over to Fort Wilderness and like Brenda said, check out P&J's and check out the Hoop De Doo and all
Yeah.
that, because there are some off the beaten path kinds of places that you don't always think about because you're always thinking about your dining in the parks. Um, so
And
those are
it's really
those are
good
definite
food.
options, and it's
Yeah.
really good,
And
really
I
good.
can say one more thing about that, and that is my guests that have stayed there have really appreciated my suggestion of getting a golf cart because you can stay at a cabin that's very far from things. And if you rent one of the golf carts, you can get to where you're going really, really painlessly. It's a
Yeah,
good
without
service they
having to
That's
wait
offer.
for the
true.
buses. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I enjoyed taking the buses, but that's just because at the time I was that girl that wanted a lot of independence, and I still want that independence. So for me, it was not about the buses, it was about the fact that I was taking them alone. My parents didn't want to go to the pool, they wanted to go back to the room and sleep. Meanwhile, I was like, it's too hot. I'm gonna go cool off. So I got on my bathing suit, got my towel. Well, I didn't get my towel. They had to bring me that, but that's beside the point. I got my bathing suit. I got something to cover up with. I went to the bus stop. I said, take me to the meadow, please. He took me to the meadow, and it was so fun. It was like my first time on public transportation, even though it wasn't public because it was resort exclusive.
Yeah. And you were perfectly safe because it's within the
Yeah.
resort. So it's
Uh-huh.
yep,
it's a good way to kind of teach independence too. Plus
Yeah.
yep.
you were old enough.
Plus,
Yeah,
she
I
was
know.
old enough.
I was 19, but
Yeah. So anyway, good
That's a good choice,
good
Sophie.
choice, Sophie. Y'all
yeah.
done? You got
Yep,
everything covered you needed to cover?
I'm done.
Okay. So now the hard part
The
is for
cheater's up.
me.
The cheater
Well,
is up.
yeah,
Oh,
because
careful.
I couldn't.
Those
Well,
fighting
that's my own
words.
term. That's my own term. Brenda's just throwing it back at me. The
Yeah.
question is, which is my favorite? Because I really like Coronado Springs, and I really like Port Orleans French Quarter.
Mm,
So it's really hard for me to choose which one is number one and which is number two. So I'm going to choose 1A and 1B And I might even have to flip a coin to say which one is 1A and which is 1B, because that would still indicate a favorite. My background is of a Riverview room that we had. It was room number 5225.
Wow, you're good with
And
numbers.
Oh my
well, I have a
goodness.
picture in my phone.
Oh,
that shows the
oh
right
my
number.
gosh.
um, this picture, Sophie, is from when we brought Stephanie, and this is the year we bought our DVC.
Awesome.
So we when I knew Steph was coming with us, I'm like, I'm gonna splurge. I'm gonna upgrade to a Riverview room, because normally I would just do standard room, and a standard room is fine. People, you don't have to have a Riverview room, because it's not like it's different. It's a pretty shot,
Yeah.
and it's nice to see the Sassagoula River there, but it's not like I have a balcony where I can sit out there and drink coffee or orange juice or
Yeah.
whatever and watch the river go by. I'm outside the door, so there's no chairs there. So it's really not, it's not anything that you really need to, splurge on unless, you don't have a choice. But,
Uh-huh.
but it was nice, and so anyway, that was room 5225. That's the view from 5225. And I liked that. I liked it a lot. And um it was still a nice room and it was still a great area. Um and I think it looks better than my picture the over at Coronado. So
Mm.
that's why I chose it over Coronado. So I guess what I'm saying is French Quarter is my 1A and Coronado is my 1B.
Ah.
All that to say that. And a few things that I like about French Quarter. French Quarter is the smallest moderate on property. In fact, it might be the smallest resort on property because it has 600 rooms, which seems like a lot of rooms. But when you're talking about a Walt Disney World resort, that is a little teeny tiny bit of space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and and one of the other things I like about it is that it is super quiet. And the reason it's so small is because Port Orleans used to be one huge resort. That's why PortOrleans.org,
Yep.
it talks about
It
Port
talks about
Orleans.
both.
Yeah. But then they split it up and they made Riverside and then they made French Quarter and they kind of gave each their own identity, I think. Um, like Brenda
Yeah.
mentioned with Riverside, it is, it's they're right next to one another, and so you can actually walk from one
Mhm.
resort to the other resort, and it's only like a 15-minute walk.
Think
And
beignets, people.
yeah, the
You can only
beignets
get beignets at French Quarter.
at French Quarter, you can get the beignets, and they are absolutely to die for. And um, they are located at the Sassagoula Food Court, and the French Quarter does not have a sit-down restaurant. That is over at Riverside. So
Yeah.
if you're
The
going to stay
French
at French
Quarter.
Quarter, chances are you're more likely to just eat in the food court or at the parks or whatever. It's not as
Well, I mean, they do have the Scat Cat Club, but that's a lounge and cafe, so
that's the
that's only
lounge.
for
Yeah,
adults.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but but they don't have any sit down table service
No,
restaurants.
they
Yeah.
So
don't. You have the food court, which has places to sit, but there's not.
yeah,
But even though you have boat rides at Riverside, I mean, most of our dining is done in the parks. So
yeah,
it doesn't really factor in to me, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, the water taxi from Riverside stops at French Quarter and then goes down to Disney Springs, so you can pick it up. You can also take the water taxi from French Quarter up to Riverside if it's going the right direction. Um, so that's good. Um, as far as Riverside goes, one of the things that we found one year, and I don't know if this is
Mhm.
an every year thing or not, but um, some of our friends from Brazil with their loud soccer horns
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
would sometimes stay at French Quarter when we were there, and so it
Yeah.
got a little noisy when when they were there because they had these huge groups of people. So
Yeah.
if that's happening, that might be a reason to stay at another resort just because of the noise factor. But typically, though, it wasn't a huge thing. Um, One of the things I want to share is my
Mhm.
screen. Let me
Ooh.
switch something real quick.
What you got for us, Daddy?
I'm just going to show you two pictures I have. Let's see here. So what am I looking at? I've got the river
Ooh.
view.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the same shot you see in my background. And
Yep.
then I've got the pool over at Coronado Springs. And I really
Yeah.
like the pools at both resorts. That's why it's a
Yeah.
1A, 1B. You know,
Yeah.
the pool
Yeah. The
at
lost city
Coronado,
of Cibola.
exactly. And it's part of the dig site. Um,
It does look cool. It would have been much better if you had gotten a shot of that water slide.
yeah. But
Yeah.
That water slide is built into a Mesoamerican pyramid, you guys.
yeah, it
Yep.
is really neat. And then the pool at French Quarter is called Doubloon Lagoon. But both pools have a water slide. They both have a lot of fun, um, and it's just a great way to unwind, you know. And we stayed at Coronado Springs for both. Let's see, the first 2 years we stayed on property was Coronado Springs. The second 2 years we stayed on property was at French Quarter. So that's why we liked them both a lot.
Yeah.
um, there's obviously a lot of differences between the two, and one of the biggest difference is in the theming. So French Quarter, it's like you are in the French Quarter of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and Riviera is like you are up in the bayou of Louisiana. Um, Coronado Springs, it's like you are in Southwest or in Mexico, Aztec period, Maya period, that kind of thing. So it's just really, really neat. And, and the food at Coronado kind of plays along with that. The food at Coronado, there's a food court that is called El Mercado de Coronado, and that is kind of a Southwest sort of feel to it. Um, and it's quick service. They have a lot of different options that you can choose from, but they also have some table service ones at Coronado that they don't have at French Quarter.
Yeah.
But
Well, the
any,
Coronado's the only moderate convention hotel, so they have a lot
yeah,
more dining
Yeah, that's true.
options.
yes, they do. And
But I have to say, I think that I know I always go back to this somehow. I'm not even a shopper, but the gift shop to me at French Quarter is awesome.
Yeah.
and see, I'm not that much of a shopper either.
I'm not either, but I've noticed things like that. Probably because I don't like to shop, so I like the ones that are specifically better stand out
Yeah.
to me.
There you go. Um, but yeah, I like the food court and I like the dining at Coronado. But you're right, it is a convention resort. And so that was one of the um that for people that were looking at where they wanted to stay, that was sometimes a turnoff because they felt like it would just be cold business, and that,
Yeah.
every time they would stay there, they felt like there would be um a situation where it would just be a case of there was always a convention going on, which is not really the case. And
No.
the convention center over there is kind of out of the way. So you don't
Yeah.
really run into it unless you're going to look for it. So
Or unless you're riding the buses from the park at a busy time when convention people are waiting for that bus,
Yeah.
which happens because a lot of people that attend the conventions bring their families, so their families go to the park while they're doing their meetings and stuff. So there can be very busy bus times. And when you're talking about French Quarter, it's such a boutique Yeah. resort. That's a big difference between the two. The massiveness of Coronado Springs versus the boutique feel of French Quarter.
Yeah.
You're right, exactly right on that, because it is a huge resort. Coronado is. It is
Absolutely
huge.
enormous.
So.
And especially now with Grand Destino Tower.
They have done a lot of work at Coronado, though, and I feel like they've improved it for the better. Obviously, like you just mentioned, Sophie, with Grand Destino Tower, that is, it's almost like its own resort,
Yeah.
as far as that tower goes.
It is absolutely wonderful.
It is beautiful. It looks like a deluxe resort in there, in the lobby, in the bar area, and all that.
Yeah.
So pretty.
And as far as the other sections of Coronado goes, they did a lot of work on the rooms there as well. Last time I stayed there, they had redone a room, and it was really well done. I mean, two huge queen beds. The room felt huge.
I'm
And
looking at it right now.
it was really neat. We'll share it.
Okay. All right. Hang on. Share screen. Like, this is just what I see right now. This is here. I'll just view photos. That's what Daddy is talking about.
Right.
That's just a standard or a preferred room, I think.
That's a water view room. But
and the Grand Destino rooms look more like the Contemporaries rooms. They're very clean and crisp, straight lines and white, and really pretty.
But those rooms, they're really nice.
Yeah.
They're really nice. I was really pleased with staying there, and I think it would be worth us as a family checking it out again, So,
I think it would be. I think that's something I would like to do.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I know I'm very wishy-washy today. I don't know if I have a favorite.
I think Port Orleans.
And I know why, and the why is because I like both of them.
I don't know, Dad. Yeah. I'm gonna make an educated guess or decision for you, and I'm gonna say Port Orleans French Quarter is your favorite. Okay. I'm gonna decide that right now because, like you said, it's smaller, it's quieter, and I know you, as much as you love Disney on your vacations, you also enjoy the peaceful moments. And you get more of those with Port Orleans French Quarter because you can just walk along the riverside and it's nice, it's quiet. There's not this rush. It's sleepy almost.
Okay.
I like that part too because I'm also somebody that searches for quiet time.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first from me. I like French Quarter better.
Think of it, I think all of our favorites kind of match that, Daddy, because you have Miss Brenda with Riverside, which is a pea in a pod with French Quarter, and then you got me with the cabins, and the cabins are just, well, they're the cabins, so there's not really anything that needs to be explained there. So yeah.
So there you go. But I also have some listener feedback.
Oh, awesome.
And Brenda, I think this is absolutely zero surprise that your client PJ likes Riverside. It says that Riverside is the best.
All right.
And she went on to say that you can't beat the ambiance and the gift shop is great.
Yep, I agree.
Her boat ride, Disney Springs, is her favorite too.
All right. Smart girl, that PJ.
And my buddy John, who commented on the values, he said that he loves Riverside and Coronado Springs.
There you go.
Both have great landscaping. That's something I didn't even touch on was landscaping.
Yeah.
Both pools are tops in their book. He enjoys the quick service and the sit down at Riverside more.
Yep.
He has not done the sit down at Coronado Springs. That's the what's the name of that restaurant?
Pepper Market.
Well, Pepper Market was the food court area.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Oh, the sit down is
sit
well, no,
down
there's Rick's. Rick's is the bar one.
it is
It's that long four word one.
what um,
Oh
It's a
no.
Maya
four-word
Grill.
one.
He's thinking of the Maya Grill.
Oh no, I was thinking of the other.
Oh.
No, I
Maya
was thinking of
Grill
the other
is the
restaurant.
table service. And the El
That one.
Mercado de Coronado is the replacement for Pepper Market. It's the way I understand it anyway. But he said that the quick service at Pepper Market had lost some of its taste in his book.
Oh.
But he hadn't been there in a few years. And John, I'm going to tell you, try it again because I think the El Mercado de Coronado has done a good job at replacing and improving on what you get there. So I would say try it again. He said he would like to try it again to see if it is improved. So, but anyway,
I need to figure out the name of that other one because that's going to drive me insane. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Move along. I'm just going to I'm sorry, I can't let things go because it drives me
Aw.
nuts.
Don't you worry about it.
well, dining at.
Yeah.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about?
El Mercado. Yeah, that's it. Okay. It
Yeah.
didn't sound familiar to me. I'm sorry. I just had to know. Just
Well,
one of
there you
those people.
That's okay. So anyway, and you're right, Brenda. One last thing about Coronado, it is almost like a deluxe because there is a ton of dining now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Toledo, you got Three Bridges Bar and Grill, you got Rick's Sports Bar and Grill, you got the Dahlia Lounge, you got the Barcelona Lounge, you got the Siestas Cantina, you got the Maya Grill, you got Cafe Rick's, you got El Mercado de Coronado, and you got the Laguna Bar. All of
Yeah.
those sorts of things. Like that's like
Ooh.
you're staying at a deluxe resort.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
They're not all open right now, but they're going
they're
to be
not.
reopened.
They're not.
They're going to
But
be reopening if they're bringing back the dessert parties. I think we're getting ready to see a big change.
yeah. And one
Oh.
last thing about Coronado, it's over by Animal Kingdom. Everything you get to from Coronado is via bus. That is probably one of the drawbacks for me. Is just bus to everywhere. Um, and obviously for French Quarter and Riverside, it would be bus to get to the parks, but you could take the water taxi to get to Disney Springs for dining. So there's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
But um but anyway, still great places to stay. And I would recommend, and I almost always when I've got a client that is looking at a quote for a moderate, I will check them all out and I will oftentimes see like a standard room at Coronado is less than a standard room at French Quarter or Riverside. So I think they're trying to make the resort maybe a little bit better or trying to get more people there, and that might be why the price is a little bit less. I don't know. But anyway, always something to consider, you know.
Yeah.
So take a look at them and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to look at the websites and see what you're looking at and see if the theming fits what you're wanting to get out of your trip. So
Yeah. And
that's
ask your
really
agent for feedback too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would gladly send people to both. So
All
I agree.
right.
And thank you very much to Cindy and Deb and PJ and John who were part of our episode today. Y'all keep sending in your comments and your thoughts and
yeah,
we
next
appreciate
week
Yes,
it. Thank you.
next week we
please.
want to hear about your deluxe feels.
Yeah.
All right. So that wraps up our feature topic, and it is time for This Day in Disney History, starring Grogu. Take it away, Grogu.
Well, Grogu and I have decided to equally split the 2 bits of Disney history that we have, and this is both on the exact same day, exact same year. And I'm going to start. I have some news that starts in 1987 with the Golden Girls.
Oh, I love that show.
Funny.
On September 20th, in 1987, the Golden Girls wins 3 Emmy Awards. And for those of you who are unaware, it is a sitcom produced by Disney, Touchstone Television, and distributed by Buena Vista Television, so it's technically Disney property.
Yeah.
Or it is. The show itself wins for Outstanding Comedy Series. The Outstanding Lead Actress Award goes to Rue McClanahan, and Terry Hughes is awarded for Outstanding Directing in a Comedy Series.
There you go.
Very good.
Yes.
Good
Yay.
stuff.
And then, Grogu, you want to go? He's feeling a little stage shy right now, so I'll do his for him. Oh well.
Okay.
Next, a new parade replacing Disney World's 15 Years of Magic, called the We the People All America Parade, steps off at the Magic Kingdom. The procession features Mickey and Minnie in colonial attire, riding atop an oversized Constitution float, surrounded by a marching band. It's a new
Wow.
parade, and
There
I
you
don't
go.
know if we've ever seen it, but sounds to me like that Constitution float might be the one that they remastered for the Main Street Electrical Parade,
That's what it
perhaps?
sounds like,
It
maybe.
does sound like that. Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
Thank
So
you,
what
Sophie.
year was
Very
that?
cool. That was all.
1987?
Yes, they both happened in 1987.
Huh. No, I don't think I ever saw that. In
I
fact, I'm
didn't either.
pretty certain I never saw it.
I didn't either. But I've
Yeah.
seen the float, of course, that you're talking about, and I bet you're right.
Yeah. I think you might be right. So
The People
you gotta look it up.
All America Parade.
See if you can find an image and share it.
Images. Ooh. Oh, that's cool. And it's still in black and white, I think. This is what it's talking about. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh,
That
that's
is
cool.
so cool.
That
And
is cool. Oh, there it is in color. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
oh, wow. They even have Daisy and Donald there. And who's that? I
Cute.
don't know who that is. That looks like it might be Donald or Daisy's mom. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Don't know.
I do remember that float, though. That float right there, they remastered and used in the Halloween parade.
Oh, okay.
I
Awesome.
do remember that
I
float.
don't remember any of it, honey.
I don't. It does seem like a lot of these pictures are in black and white, though. That's
Yeah. That's
interesting
a
to
funny
see.
thing.
Yeah, there's Goofy riding his horse.
Very cute. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
really like that. That looks like an awesome parade.
Yay. Thank you for sharing that, Sophie.
No problem. Now,
Oh,
wait,
uh-oh.
what?
You know what it's time for?
Time
Oh,
for Stump the Soph and the Brend. Stop. Time to stump the Soph and Aunt Brenda.
aw.
Oh, it's easy to stump me.
Not easy to
And
stump me,
last week, who
especially
got the
after
right answer, Brenda?
Yeah, that
you
was a
did,
first in
but
a while.
it's not gonna happen again this week. This week I'm gonna get it right.
I know you are.
So I have 3 clues.
All right.
I'm curious to see if you get this character based on these 3 clues. This character wears a red top and a brown hat. This
Red
character
top, brown hat.
and this character has a long beard. And this
Grumpy.
character Grumpy?
Grumpy.
You got it.
Yay!
I'm like, I've got to pull them out of the weeds.
Good job, Sophie.
The last
Yay!
one was this character has a heart of gold.
Still grumpy.
Yep.
Yep.
Good job.
See?
Yep.
Grumpy.
Very good job.
Oh, wow. At first, when you said red top, I was thinking Winnie the Pooh. Then you said brown hat, and I was like, no, not Winnie the Pooh.
At first, when he said brown shirt, I was thinking Gaston.
Red
was
shirt,
way off.
brown hat. Yeah.
So anyway,
Good job, Sophie.
Thank
Woohoo.
you.
yeah. So Grumpy from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I was wanting to know, I was curious to see if the clothing choice, if you were that on it, that you would be able to pick out the character based on just clothing choices.
Well,
I had an idea, but unfortunately, no. I needed a little bit more than that.
But the long beard,
very
I don't.
good.
Who
Yeah.
else? Do any of the other dwarfs have beards?
Oh yeah, Doc, Happy,
Are they long?
Sleepy, Bashful. Yeah, a lot of them are long. I think Dopey and
Dop-
Sneezy are the only ones that don't have beards.
I think you're right.
There you go. Well done, Sophie.
Yay!
Thank you.
I'm
Bravo.
impressed.
Aww.
I didn't think it would be that easy.
I'm always impressed by Sophie.
The
Aww.
last thing I was going to say is that it's my personality.
That's
But-
not
You
true.
are not
That's
grumpy.
Butch's personality.
It's Butch's personality.
Nah, Daddy, you are more like happy than grumpy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just
You're
kidding.
happy to me.
I
Thank
agree
you.
with that.
All right. Well, it is now time for a little bit of Walt.
Okay,
And
a little bit
it
of
is
Walt.
time to close out with Brenda and her always awesome Walt Disney quotes.
Yay! Thank you. Well, here's a good one, I think. The first year at Disneyland, I leased out the parking concessions, brought in the usual security guards, things like that, but soon realized my mistake. I couldn't have outside help and still get over my idea of hospitality. So now we recruit and train every one of our employees. I tell the security police, for instance, that they are never to consider themselves cops. They are there to help people. The visitors are our guests. It's like running a fine restaurant. Once you get the policy going, it grows. Walt Disney.
Nice.
Oh,
I-
wow.
I like to think back to a time where the security police were just for help. Nowadays, of course, things are so different, but boy, the simpler life back then,
Yeah.
didn't have to
Yeah.
worry so much, but
Yeah. That was then.
yeah, they hired their own people because they couldn't keep that level of hospitality with just anyone. They needed to be Disney trained. So I think that was a great thing he did. Great
Yeah.
idea.
That was a great idea. Good quote. Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Walt, for saying it, because
Yeah.
otherwise we wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right,
you.
people. Well, that wraps us up for this week. Next week is our third week, and this one we're going to be talking about is your favorite deluxe resort and why. So stay tuned. Get your thinking caps on. Give us some ideas on what your favorite deluxe resort is, or if you've never stayed at a deluxe resort, because not many people stay at them, or not as many. Give us an idea of which one you would like to stay at and why.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk it all up, and we're going to have a great week. I hope you all have a great week this week. And you know what? September 20th, we are 9 days from our trip,
Yeah.
Sophie.
Yes, you
We
are.
are.
Yay!
We are, and I cannot wait. Oh my gosh.
Yay!
See,
Ooh.
how many days until your next trip?
Yep.
So anyway, thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great week. And we will.
See
See
you
you
on
on
the
the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.